What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is your review for Queen Sugar, Season 6, Episode 9. So, we opened this episode up. We got Ralph Angel and Darla on the floor, honey, because she said, listen, it's getting rough. This is how I'm comfortable, okay? And, they just talking about, being there for each other and, loving up on each other. But we noticed that they're boxes, so they've started packing, for the inevitable, which is them having to move. This whole episode was about Darla and, her baby shower, right? So we head on over to Ava's house. Ava's resting, getting herself together. She says she is resting up for the baby shower. Blue is going to be in town. She's excited. She's looking forward to it. Glad that her and Ralph Angel are in a better place, And she's talking to Hollywood, and Hollywood gets a text from Gabriel. And Ryan's like, so you still talking to him? And Hollywood was like, listen, we don't talk a lot, but yeah, every once in a while he still hits me up. And Ryan was like, well, it's not his fault that his mama crazy. And Hollywood was like, yeah, he's a good kid, but, I'm not going to take it out on his mama that, that he got a little something going on. And Ryan seems on the surface, she's cool with it, but ultimately you could see that it kind of hit her a little funny, Now, over at Charlie's house, Charlie is hosting this baby shower, and of course, Charlie is being Charlie, honey. She done flew in, Darla's favorite fruits, and she's got balloons and floral arrangements and cooks, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's Charlie. What would you would expect nothing less. And of course, they're excited about the baby coming, and they let us know that she's already started traveling with the party and out on the road, and Micah is there, and it's all good, right? So then we head over to the airport, and they done picked Blue up from the airport, and then they happy to see him, and he happy to see them, and life is good. So they get to the house, and they're measuring his height, because, they always measure Blue's height, and he's talking about the next time he comes, he's going to be this tall, and that they can put the baby next. And then he notices their boxes. And he's like, well, what's up with the boxes? And they were like, well, we'll talk about it after the baby shower. We'll let you know. And then Ralph Angel takes him out in the field, and they go for a walk. And Blue says, listen, Dad, what's going on? Like, I'm a big boy now. You can tell me what's up. Like, what's going on? And Ralph Angel tells him, he said, listen. And he starts going down memory lane. Remember that time I left you at the park so I could go across the street? I shouldn't have done that then. And, I made a bad mistake this time. And, I let my pride get the best of me. And I don't want you to be like that. I don't want you to make those kind of mistakes over your pride. And, I'm trying to remember. I think he stopped short of actually saying we got to move. But I think he told him that it's a possibility. And I'm thinking to myself, it ain't no possibility, bro. Y'all gone. Ain't no possibility there. So over to Nova's house. Her neighbor comes through. And again, y'all, something about this dude, and everybody seems to feel the same way. And something about him ain't right. But anyway, he's doing the research on the bones that they found over on the land. And he's like, listen, we know the bones are older. They're old enough that they cleared Ernest of any type of murder. But, we've been able to kind of trace it back to the late 1800s or the 1800s. And he said, we noticed that it's not just one body, these are bones from multiple people. And so, Nova was like, so was it some sort of like cemetery or something? He was like, I don't know. We're still, searching. So then he tells her about how beautiful she looks and all that good stuff. And he says, look, bring me back some of that pie. Bring back some of Ava's pie. Like, I don't care which slice it is. Just bring me something. And she was like, well, would you like to get your own piece? And he was like, yeah, I think I would. So he ends up going to the baby shower. Again, y'all, I don't know. Anyway, now over to Mr. Prosper's house, we see Prosper and his baby girl getting dressed, Billy. And she's a little nervous. To, because even though she's made some headway with the folks, she's still a little nervous about going around people who last time she saw them, they thought she was the town slut, you know. And Mr. Prosper said, "Don't worry about it. I got your back. Like whatever it is, we're gonna handle it together." And she was like, "All right, Pop." So she's going to the baby shower. We get to the baby shower, and again, it is beautiful. Everybody's happy to be there. You know, hugs and kisses all around, all that good stuff. And Darla addresses everybody. And it's a moment, you know. There was a lot of reminiscing in this episode back to like season 1 and different things that went on. We talked about that first episode with Ralph Angel leaving Blue at the park so he could go rob somebody, you know, rob the store. Remember that? And Darla goes around the room and basically acknowledges everybody in the room for what they've done for her and how they've helped her. And when she got to Hollywood, baby, that thing about broke me. When she got to Hollywood and she talked about how he would come and he found her, you know, when she was at her lowest point, and you know, he was there for her, and she was like, and you saved my life, and I will always be thankful for that, ever thankful for that. And so that was just a moment. But she went around the room and she thanked Charlie and Ava and Nova and Micah, you know, everybody for what they had done to help her get to this point. And it was a moment, you know, it was a moment. But ultimately, everybody shows up. They playing the daggone laundry clip game. If you've been to a baby shower, child, y'all have played some version of that game. You can't say the word baby or somebody takes your clip. And this one, there was you can't cross your arms, and Blue was on it, honey. Blue was the cross your arms police, honey. Okay. Now Nova shows up with this little, you know, this little cute little thing, and of course everybody like, who this here? Who is Nova? And she, you know, Charlie was like, "What's up with that?" And she was like, "Listen, we taking it slow, but you know, I'm kind of feeling him a little bit, you know." And so, you know, he's getting to know the family now. All I could think about was when Darla was going around the room thanking everybody. I was like, the neighbor don't need to be here for this. This is a private family moment. He don't need to be hearing all their personal business about Darla down to the crack house and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But then we move forward into the baby shower, and there's a really sweet moment between Billy and Nova. And again, just reiterating their friendship and how they're glad they're in a better place. And Billy says that she might even be staying for a little while. She said things at home a little complicated, and I might be staying here a little bit longer than I had thought I was. So I feel like Billy is going to probably end up being on the show next season, like permanently on the show next season, because it seems like they're opening the door for that. And that'll be interesting. Then we see Darla and Charlie having a conversation, you know, about motherhood and her sleeping on the floor, and you know, they kind of, you know, commiserating on how hard it is when you're pregnant, trying to get comfortable, and you know, and Darla was like, "Oh my gosh, this is what I need." Like these types of conversations only a mother could understand. And then she sort of looks up at Vi like, "Oh shoot." And she said, "Well, you know, other people can understand too." And Vi was like, "Girl, don't worry about it. You're fine. It's okay." And she said, "Well, I'm going to leave y'all out here to finish talking." And so she gets up, she goes inside, and then she sees Hollywood playing with Blue. And again, I think, you know, it goes back to watching Hollywood with Gabe. It's like this whole, you know, Hollywood would be a great dad, and I can't give him that moment, you know. And again, I know we went through that when he wanted to marry her, and that was one of her reasons for saying no, because she didn't want him to be, you know, feel like he was giving up anything or sacrificing anything. So then Nova went to go have a conversation with Micah, and this was a really, really good conversation. We know that Nova, I don't know what she actually identifies as, but we know that in the lifetime of this series, we've seen Nova with women and men. I don't know if she identifies as bisexual or what. I don't know. But Micah actually opened up to her, and he told her about his friend in school and how he's like his best friend. He trusts him. He wants to talk to him about everything. They have so much in common. He said, I really do love him. He said, but I'm a little confused because I'm starting to have some intimate feelings. And, that is where I'm not really clear on, does that mean that I'm bi? Does that mean that I'm gay? Am I fluid? And Nova told him, she said, listen, I think you're paying too much attention to the question. It's okay. You don't have to make a decision now. This is a very confusing time for you. You don't have to have it all figured out. So don't put the pressure on yourself. Take the pressure off of trying to feel like you have to have the answer. You don't. And it's okay. Just enjoy it. Lean into it. Explore it. And you'll figure it out. And again, I think it was a good conversation. I think that's the conversation that Micah needed to hear. And I think, one, we know him and Nova have always been close and have always had this relationship. But also knowing that Nova has, for lack of a better word, y'all, don't correct me about it, but has a fluid sexual identity. Because again, we've seen her flawlessly go from being in a relationship with a woman to being in a relationship with a man, very flawlessly. And it's not even an issue, And so I just feel like that's the conversation Micah needed. We know he talked to Charlie, and Charlie let him know, listen, whatever you think you are or you feel yourself identifying as, I'm going to love you anyway. I don't care. I ain't tripping. So he needed that from Charlie, but he also needed to have a conversation with somebody who has maybe gone through this same process and had to figure it all out, right? So, it was a really good conversation. And like I said, ultimately, Nova was like, don't lead your feelings, let your feelings lead you. And just use this as a time of discovery. So, again, like I said, I feel like that's what Micah needed to hear. That was a good conversation. So then, there was a conversation where all of the farmers sort of got together, right? And Ralph Angel was talking to them about, listen, we got to do something different because we've always done the same thing, which means we always got the same thing. We need to figure out a way to do something different. And he gave them the idea, said, listen, let's create a co-op. Let's all of us take our money that we're getting from the settlement. Yeah, individually, we might be all right for a couple of years. But if we pool our money together, then we can buy up more land and we can create bigger farms for us and our family and make more money. Mr. Prosper's daughter, we know she's a paralegal, works in a law firm. She did the research and she found a law for black farmers that basically says that if any land comes up for sale, they have the right of first refusal. And so during the pandemic, this whole strip mall plan that they were trying to put together fell apart. And they were like, listen, that land is just sitting right there. If we pull our money together, like individually, we can't do it. But if we pool our money and our resources, we can buy that land up and we can create a co-op for the land. Now, in my back of my mind, I'm thinking, Ralph Angel, you ain't got no land. So you kind of, but I'm going to let that go for now because we know they're going to find a way to hold on to that land. We're going to get there in a second, child. So they all think it's a great idea. It's something that I think they're going to move forward on. And again, we're going to see how that works out for them. But I think it's a great idea too. And it was actually Darla's idea. Ralph Angel lets them know that Darla actually came up with that idea, right? So the baby shower's over, child. They taking them packages, the presents home. And, Charlie says to Darla, listen, I wasn't trying to overstep, but do you want to just leave that stuff here in the garage? I mean, that'll be one less thing for y'all to have to move. Like, it doesn't make sense to move everything to the house, just to move it again. So then her and Charlie and Aunt Vi have a conversation with Darla. They said, listen, we don't want to overstep. We've been trying to mind our business, but And please don't get offended. Please don't get mad. Please don't think we trying to get in y'all business. But Ava was like, listen, I got an extra room. You know, it was Blue's room. It's big enough for the two of y'all and the baby. You know, I can promise you some home cooked meals. I would love to have y'all around. You know, again, you can save up some money. You don't have to feel pressure to go find something. And then Charlie said, and listen, I'm about to be on the road for the next year, you know, campaigning. I'm barely going to be here. Micah's living on campus. I got this big old house that's going to be empty most of the time. Y'all would have free reign. Y'all would have run of the house. You know, you ain't got to tell me nothing now. Just think about it. You know, you have two people giving you some really good offers. You think about it and you let us know. But just so you know that we're here for you and y'all don't have to, y'all can save some money. Y'all ain't got to go out. And I love the way they did that because they were like, listen, woo, me and Ralph Angel just got on good terms. I don't even want you thinking. Woo, okay. So back at the house with Nova and her neighbor child, they have been able to trace, or at least to the best of their recollection, they think that those bones that they're finding are the remnants of a mass grave from a massacre that took place around the Civil War with some, I think she said it was some soldiers that were trying to sign up to be in the military, to fight in the war, or they were fighting in the war, and there was a massacre down there, and they think that those could possibly be the bodies from the massacre. And so Nova was like, well, if we can prove that, if we can make that connection, maybe we can get that land declared a national, you know what I'm saying, protected land, a landmark. That's it, a landmark. So that's what they're working on. Like I said, y'all know they're going to find a back door to save this land, honey. So that's what they're going to be working on as far as that's concerned. Now, over to the house, you know, Darla brings it up to Ralph Angel that, you know, Ava and Charlie offered to let them live with them. And do you know what this, see, Ralph Angel, listen, because I still think they letting him off way too easy, but that ain't my business. But listen, he had the nerve to say, I was wondering if they was going to say something. I guess they just figured that I got myself in this mess. I had to just get out of it. For real, Ralph Angel? You really was about to have an attitude if they wasn't going to offer to let you live there after you basically screwed up and lost the farm. That's what you was going. And again, your pride. Why didn't you ask? You know Charlie got this big ass house that's empty. Why didn't you say, hey, Charlie, I know you've been doing a lot of traveling. I know you on the road a lot. What's good? Like, you got a couple extra bedrooms. What you think? I'll take care of the house. Make sure the lawn is cut. Make sure the neighbors know somebody living here. They don't rob you. What's good? You be doing too much, Ralph Angel. I swear you do. Micah is back on campus and he goes to see Mr. Elijah, and Elijah ain't there. And he leaves a message on the door, but of course you see he's kind of hesitant and he's kind of, you know, figuring it all out. But he does leave a message and tells him, listen, in case you're hungry, I got some food in my room, honey. And that is pretty much the episode. Next week is the season finale, honey. So we will see what ends up happening and where we end up. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.